begin with our mantra. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Punaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavit Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Go ahead and start the constriction of the back of the throat. Hearing the sound of the ocean, making the ah sound on the inhale, the ha sound on the exhale. Then again, remember you can always open that mouth on the exhale. Our Ujjayi breath is important to our practice. That oceanic sound connects our breath-body movement. It brings a natural relaxation to the mind. And we also equalize our breath. If we equalize our breath, we have a better chance of equalizing our blood pressure, bringing an overall calmness and stillness to our lives. Our next inhale, we're just going to softly open our eyes. And right away, we're going to transition to hands and knees. So in our hands and knees posture, we want to make sure that the wrists, the shoulders, the knees, and the hips are all in alignment. I usually tend to put my toes up like this for the first few rounds, but if it's more comfortable to relax the feet back, that's perfectly fine as well. To begin, we'll pull in our bellies, have a nice neutral spine. Pulling that belly button back toward the spine a little bit. The gaze is just slightly ahead and forward, gazing kind of like toward the tip of the nose here. You can open the eyes or keep them shut. As we inhale, we're going to reach the tailbone up, the belly will sink down and the shoulders will retract back. As we exhale, we're going to pull the tailbone down, rounding down toward the floor. Inhale, the tailbone reaches up, the belly drops, gaze is forward, tip of the nose. Exhale, round that tailbone down to the earth. Let the natural flow of the spine go with. And the gaze can go toward the belly. We'll do one more. We inhaling up into this beautiful cow pose. Exhaling back into our cat pose. Our next inhale will come into a center position, really pulling that belly in toward the spine again. And as we exhale, we're going to soften the tops of the feet and push our hips back toward our heels. So this is our child pose. So let's make this an active child's posture. Really start to use the heels of the palms to press your hips back towards your heels. This will also retract the shoulder blades down the back. The gaze is forward right toward the tip of the nose just a little bit. We'll inhale here. And as we exhale, maybe we can walk our hands out just a tiny touch more, but still using the heels of the palms to press in and back, getting more and more length. Let's try that one more time. So we'll inhale maybe another centimeter or so, reaches forward. Exhale, heels of the palms press in. Now I understand that sometimes we have to widen out our knees in order to be able to get a more depth into our practice. Feel free to do that if that works better for you. And just really retract those shoulder blades down the back. Our next inhale, we're going to drop that forehead down. And as you exhale, let the hands come and rest right down there by the ankles and the sides here. Hold and breathe here for some breaths, some Ujjayi breath. And our very next inhale, our hands are going to come to frame the sides of the head. We're going to push our hips up toward the sky, but keep the forehead down, and then just roll a little bit over the top of the crown of the head. As you exhale, rock back. We'll inhale to roll over. Now don't put undue pressure. Just really get a good neck stretch here. Exhale, the hips move back. One more. Inhale to roll across here just a touch. Exhale, coming back. This time we'll let those hips drop completely down. Take your hands and reach for the heels. Really pull the heels in toward the body and lift the bum up a little bit. This is a bit of a rabbit pose here. Maybe the very, very top of the front of the forehead will come to the earth here. We're just stretching out shoulders, neck, the whole deal. A little bit of a rabbit pose. Our next inhale, we're going to drop ourselves down and roll up. Extending forward into an easy seated position. We'll start with the left leg in front. Now really get the butt bones connected to the earth. So if you have to pick up your butt and move it, just pick up your butt and move it. And from that position, we'll sit up nice and tall. It's early, so our hips may be a little bit tight. You can see how high up my knees are. Well, I'm naturally tight-hipped anyway, so I have to work on this all the time. So just do your best to sit up very, very tall here, and then roll those shoulders down the back. The gaze is going to go forward. You can close the eyes or just keep the eyes softly open, maybe gazing a touch toward the tip of the nose or up toward the third eye just to connect. From this position, we'll inhale to reach that left arm straight up in the air. The gaze can go up. And as we exhale, we're going to flip that palm and reach, and maybe we can come into a little bit of a bind, maybe reaching around to the opposite hip. We'll sit up tall here, inhaling. And as we exhale, we're going to take that right hand, placing on the left knee, and start to twist just a little bit from the belly all the way up to the shoulder, and the gaze can go behind. Remember, this is a connection with breath. This is our moving meditation. Our next inhale, we're just going to reach that left arm out and up overhead, and the gaze can go toward it. And as we exhale, we're going to side bend over a little bit toward the right. Next inhale, we'll release. Both hands come up. We watch the thumbs touch. And as we exhale, we bring our hands down into heart center. Releasing the hands, we're going to walk out any amount that we can keep the spine straight and the bum bones connected to the earth. So you don't want to roll those bones off. And you also don't want to round your shoulders over. So you really want to pull the chest forward, walk the hands out as much as you'd like or are able to still keep the spine straight and the butt on the floor. This will give us a great deal of length and extension. Our next inhale, we're going to walk those fingertips back up. And this time, we'll reach that right arm really up high into the air. As we exhale, we'll wrap it around for a bit of that bind. Just rolling up, inhaling up, and that left hand comes to the right knee. As we exhale, we start to twist open. The gaze goes behind. Next inhale, that right arm releases and comes up. And as we exhale, we're going to side bend a little bit toward the left. Inhale, both hands come up. We watch those thumbs touch. And exhale, down and through. Now, easy breezy, we're just going to rock back, switch the cross of the legs. We'll change our postures a little bit on this side, but the principles will still be the same. We'll keep our shoulders nice and long and pulled down the back, and we'll also keep our butt on the floor and keeping those hip bones. So we'll sit up nice and tall here. The gaze is forward, belly is pulled in. And this time as we exhale, we're going to go straight away to walking out and softening in to those hip flexors. Fingertips are reaching, chest is pulling forward, spine is staying straight, hips and bum are connected to the earth. Our next inhale, we'll walk back up, place our hands on our shoulders and start to roll, on our knees, and start to roll our shoulders a little bit up and back. Just rounding around, doing some subtle and gentle movements, paying attention to breath. And let's go the opposite direction, rolling. Next inhale, we'll come up center, settle back and get the soles of the feet planted in front. Have them about hip width apart. Hold on to the fronts of the shins. Really sit up very tall here in our nice tall stance. Belly's pulled in. Now we're going to work into the core just a touch. So what we'll do is we'll just reach the arms forward, but we're going to keep those feet flat on the ground. So we inhale this nice tall stance. As we exhale, we're going to tip back and reach those arms up. This engages the core a little bit more. Inhaling lifts. Exhaling comes forward, straight up, and hands reach. Inhale, coming up and slanting back. Exhaling here. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, forward. Just one more. Inhaling up and back. Exhale. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, come forward. Now keep those arms reaching forward and either keep your feet right there on the floor, or this time we can reach our feet up, bringing the knees together and just coming into this Navasana modification here. The higher up your arms go, the more challenge that you're going to find. So you have to pick that for yourself. So if this feels like, oh, this is awesome, I love this, just hang there and you're like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. Just reach forward or anywhere in between, and you can tell where I'm reaching. So we're really reaching forward here, but we're keeping that spine nice and straight. The knees come together, working into the hips and the thighs, also working deeply into that core. Now our next inhale, we're going to bring those hands into heart center, and we're going to do our best to straighten the legs here and the slowest ever version of letting those heels come down to the earth. When we get there, reach the arms straight up on that inhale. Exhale, reaches high and folds forward in and out. Let the gaze fall toward the belly. Now in this early one, you're not going to fold very far without forcing it. Don't force it. Just really let your body soften over those legs. Breathe. Wiggle and jiggle if you need to. Just connect with that Ujjayi breath. From that position, going to release the hands. Let that torso be ever so heavy. Just start to roll up one vertebrae at a time. Really getting up nice and tall here. And now, the legs together, belly pulled in. We'll inhale to reach up toward the sky. Exhale, lifts and folds. Maybe the hands come to the outside. Gaze to the belly. Inhale to reach and raise, coming right back up. Exhale, lift and fold. Slide those hands back out and up on the inhale. Exhale, we lift first for the extension and then fold over. Inhale, slides our way back up into a seated position. Bring the fingertips behind, facing the hips. Now they're about 3 inches or so. You can keep up on the fingertips or drop down to the palms. And as we lean back, we're going to pull those tricep muscles in toward each other and lift those legs back up into that modification of Navasana. Only this time our hands are facing behind us. So the gaze goes forward and we still hold. Gaze toward the tip of the nose here or toward the third eye, whatever feels better. And we just hold here and breathe a few rounds of breath, really working into the core. Now don't let those elbows flay out. I got eyes all over my head, so really pull them back, getting the chest lifted. And release those legs down, coming back up into the seated position. And from there, I want you to point the toes a little bit. Bend the elbows slightly and push the hips up into this nice reverse plank. Gaze goes toward the toes. Hold and breathe. Now keep this reverse plank here, flexing the feet just a little bit, so you have to adjust just a touch. We're going to work just the meanest thing into the back of the tricep muscle. So I want you to bend those elbows about halfway, lifting back up just 2 more. You can do that. We can do those together. Inhale, down and halfway. Exhale, up. Last one. Inhaling, halfway down. Exhale, up. Next inhale, drop to the bum. Reach the arms up, and as you exhale, lift and fold. This time we get to hang at the bottom. Round over just a little bit. You can play around by shifting one foot in front of the other like you're pushing on gas pedals or brake pedals, just to kind of rock the hips out a little bit. You can round the upper body over just a touch. That's perfectly fine too. And next inhale, we'll just roll ourselves back up. Do that again. So this time we're going to place our hands. This time the fingertips are going to face away. From that pose, we're going to really lift the chest up. And as you exhale, I want you to point those toes, lifting the hips up. Now we're just going to hold here for a couple of breaths. We won't do those triceps dips because our arms are facing away and it would not be a safe practice for us to do. So we're just really stretching into the forearms. If it feels better to modify, you can also place the soles of the feet flat on the floor. But we're lifting those bums up. Your gaze can be up, but please don't let the neck crane backwards. So I kind of like better looking at the belly. I think it keeps people's necks a little bit safer. Next inhale, we're just simply gonna drop our butt. Reach our arms up into the air. Exhale, reach over and fold. Get to round everything over now. Gaze can be toward the belly. Next inhale, just roll up one vertebrae at a time. We're going to take our left leg back and we're going to have a very modified pigeon pose. So I want this front right leg to come into a 90-degree angle. I have my knee and my ankle in alignment. The foot is flexed. I have my knee and my hip in alignment. This back leg in a very more active class would be reaching very far behind. We're not gonna quite do it this way. We're gonna get this front leg nice and angled out. Back leg, you get to kind of just forget it's there for a minute. Coming to sit up nice and tall. We inhale. As we exhale, we're just gonna kind of walk over that front leg, coming down to the forearms. Remember to keep that right foot flexed. Left leg is just ignored. So if the knee feels better up more by your ankle, that's fine. If it feels better away from you a little bit, that's fine as well. Gaze is soft, hands are in prayer, chest is over and facing down on the mat. That right foot, remember to keep it flexed. Don't let it soften. You gotta really flex that foot. And we're using this little compression and tension here to work deeply into the outer hip flexor. Hold and breathe. Our next inhale, keep that front leg where it is. Walk those hands up. Take this back left leg, just bring it around to the front and just sit a little bit at this side angle. I'm gonna face you here for just a second. Holding into pose of nobility, we sit up nice and tall, roll those shoulders down the back. Take that right arm around. The left arm is gonna go behind us. We lift and then we exhale into a bit of a twist here. Next inhale, we'll come forward, reach that left arm up in the air, and as you exhale, bring it to the inside and do just a little bit of a counter twist with the gaze going behind. Next inhale, we'll come center, release, bring those legs out in front a little bit, give them a little bit of shake just to release tension. We'll go right away to the other side. So, get that front left leg in that same alignment. Ankle, knee, knee, hip, all in alignment, foot's flexed. Back leg can be up here if you'd like, back a little bit farther, doesn't matter to me as long as you keep the ankles correct and the foot flexed. Turn that chest toward the mat, come down to the forearms, bringing the hands into heart center. Soften your gaze toward the floor, toward the tip of the nose. Breathe your Ujjayi breath and just relax here a little bit. Again, we're working with compression and tension, getting a nice stretch for that outer front leg. Breathe. Next inhale, we'll walk up. Keep that leg where it is. Take that right foot, Place it over the top. I'm facing the other way this time. I'm gonna face away from you a little bit, but you know what to do. Get up nice and tall in your pose of nobility. And then wrap that left arm around. The right arm goes behind. We lift and come into a bit of a twist. Breathe. We inhale, coming back center. Left arm reaches. It's going to go to the inside, and we'll do a little counter twist toward the left. Inhaling center, unbind, extend those legs out in front, bounce them out just a little bit, and then return to our all fours position. Getting that particular alignment set up. We inhale here in the neutral pose. As we exhale, we'll lift our hips up and back into our down dog. Start to breathe. Next inhale, reach that left leg up in the air, and as you exhale, come forward, placing it between the hands. Square off those hips, gaze goes forward. Inhale here, and as we exhale, we'll drop down to that right knee. Both hands come toward the left, walking the fingertips away. So we have this lizard action in our legs, a twist with our chest, and a reach with our arms. So again, the heels of the palms are going to press in. You're going to press back, press, press, press. Let the head drop. Breathe. Next inhale, we'll walk our hands back into that center pose, framing the front foot. Come back up through your low lunge. And this time I want you to take this back left leg, and I want you to step it right behind this, the right back leg, and step it right behind this left front leg, and then come to sit on the outside of your right hip. Bring the left arm on the inside, walk the right arm out, and really open the chest. So once we get here, we can use our hand to press in, and we're just going to press away, press the knee in toward us, press away with the hand, and really twist open. Gaze is up toward the sky. Next inhale, we come to sit back up, frame that front foot, and then just get that back leg and step it back into that nice low lunge. Plant the hands back into our down dog. Next inhale, right leg reaches high. As we exhale, we bring it between the hands, getting this nice lunge. Square off the hips on the inhale, the chest faces forward. As we exhale, we'll drop down to that left knee. Right hand comes in the inside. We're going to walk away, so we keep our leg form where it is. Walk our hands out just like we did the other side, so we get this nice length and extension. Use the heels of the palms to press in and really stretch out those hips, inner groin, head drops. We breathe. Next, inhale those hands, walk back, kind of framing that front foot. Come into that nice low lunge, and then that back left leg is going to step up right behind the right one. See how I do that? And then we're going to drop and come to the outside of that front hip. Both arms come on the inside, and we just kind of twist a little bit, getting a nice stretch here. Breathe, leaning in, opening the chest. Beautiful stretch here. Getting out of it's going to be way easier this time. So you're just going to bind yourself and extend those legs out in front. Beautiful job. Get the butt bones out of the way. Inhale to reach. Exhale, lift and fold. Inhale, reverse that, reaching up. And as exhale, hands down through our heart centers. Bring the legs out into a wide stance here, flexing those feet. Get them as wide as you can. When you think you got them as wide as you can, pick your hips up, scoot forward a little bit, and they tend to magically open up another centimeter. Get the hands in front. Get a tall, tall spine here. And maybe from this position, we can start to walk out, keeping our feet flexed and our spine straight. We may or may not go very far. Some people are going to go to a centimeter or two. Other people are going to be laying down on the floor. So you just go what feels good for you, as long as both butt bones are touching the floor. Walk the hands out, getting a nice extension of the chest and the shoulders, and pulling those shoulders down the back. Breathe. Next inhale, we walk ourselves back up and get back into that setup for down dog. So we'll start in our quadruped pose. Curl those toes up, lifting back, pushing back into our down dog pose. Next inhale, the left leg rises. As we exhale, bring between the hands again. Keeping up on those back toes, pull your belly in and reach and raise to a high crescent lunge. Now keep those arms reaching, but bend that back knee to square off the hips, and then straighten out that leg the best of your ability. Reach, reach, reach. Inhaling here. And as we exhale, bring the hands into heart center. Sink the hips just a little bit more. Bend that back knee again, squaring off again, then straightening that front leg or that back leg, letting the front knee and ankle become more and more in alignment. Breathe. Next, inhale, those arms will reach up. As we exhale, we're going to open up right away into a warrior two pose. So we want to look and make sure we got the setup right. Heel to arch alignment. The arms are reaching, pulling, but they're not up here. You got to roll them down. You also have to check that back arm, making sure it's reaching the same as the front. The gaze is over those front fingers. Your feet are pressing the mat apart as we sink deeply into our warrior two pose. Now, moving meditations are slow. They're not easy. They can be challenging, but they're slow and mindful. Getting our setups right, paying attention to our breath. Our next inhale, back hand is going to come around. We're going to spin up on those back toes again. Back into our high crescent lunge. As we exhale, hands come down. We step back into a plank. First, or one or two, we'll do knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, slides the legs back and the chest up to our cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale to bend the knees. Exhale, up and back into our down dog pose. Inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, between the hands. You know where we're going. If you need to widen your stance here, go ahead and do that. Squaring off those hips, pull the belly in, rising into our high crescent lunge. Set up on this side. Bend the back knee so you can really feel if the hips are level. From the bent knee position, we square off. Then we start working on straightening that front leg, reaching deeply into our lunge. Breathe. Inhale. Next exhale, the hands come down into heart center. One more time, bend that back knee. Square off those hips. Straighten the back leg, sinking deeper into our high crescent lunge. Inhale, the arms are up. And as we exhale, we open up into our warrior two. All the setups the same. Shoulders aren't up, roll down. Arms are reaching, the back arm isn't lagging, but it's reaching the same. Gaze is over the front fingers. Feet are pressing the mat apart. We work deeply into our hips. Breathe. Next inhale, back hand's gonna circle around. We're gonna spin up on those back toes. Exhale, sinking into our high crescent lunge. Next inhale, we reach forward, hands come down, plank. Exhale, knees, chest and chin. Inhale, slide those legs back, cobra up. Exhale, down. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, up and back, down dog pose. Look at your belly. Hold here for a few breaths. Exhaling out all that air, our gaze goes forward. We make our way to the front. One step or several. Feet are hip width apart. Inhaling into our half lift here. Exhale into our fold, Uttanasana. Inhale to reverse one dive. Reach and raise. Hands to heart center. Exhaling down. Beautiful, beautiful job. Release into our mountain pose. Next, inhale, hands come to hips. Right leg is going to step behind the left. So we're setting up, get the hips facing forward. Keeping the hands on the hips for this first one. We'll inhale, lifting our chest. As we exhale, we'll very mindfully fold over into a forward fold. Once you get in the fold, you can release the hands to the floor. Rock a little bit toward those front toes. Inhaling, lifting the chest. Exhale, fold. Deep hamstring stretch. Gaze can be at the belly. Keeping the fingertips on the floor. Release that right leg coming up just about into a modified warrior 3 on the inhale. And as you exhale, drop it right back down behind that left foot and exhale over. 2 more of those. Inhale to lift, reaching that leg up to hip height. Exhale, behind that front foot, folding over. Last one. Inhale to reach up to hip height. Exhale, behind, fold over. Now from this folded position, I want you to walk both hands toward the left. So we're adding a bit of a twist in here. Really allow those hips to start to move toward the right as the chest and hands move to the left. Then fold in. It should be pretty intense on that front hip. Feels pretty good. Breathe. Next, inhale, the hands walk center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let that right leg come up to hip height again. And this time as you exhale, step back, pull the belly in and rise up into that high crescent lunge. Get that set up right away. Bend, twist, straighten, and sink. Hands come down into heart center. Inhaling here. Exhale to the front. Beautiful. Other side. Hands come back to the hips. Left comes behind right. Face the front. Inhale to lift that chest and the gaze can go up. As we exhale, we very carefully fold over. As we get into the fold, the fingertips come to the floor if possible. If you have blocks at home or if you need to just use the fronts of your calves, it's perfectly fine. Rock a little to those front toes so you can fold in. Breathe. Next, inhale, we come up, and as we exhale, we start to move those fingertips toward the right. Folding into our fold, we feel a pretty intense stretch here. Breathe. Next, inhale, we come in, center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we lift, reaching that left leg up, right up to hip level. As we exhale, we drop it back down, shift back and fold. 2 more. Inhale, lifts the chest, leg comes up to that modified warrior 3. Exhale behind the front foot and fold. Last one. Inhale to reach. Exhale to fold. And this time we'll inhale to reach up. That leg comes up. And as you exhale, you bend that front knee, step that back in your nice low lunge, pull that belly in, reach and raise all the way up. Get that set up right away first, and then just sink and hold and breathe. Inhale. Exhale, hands at heart center. Inhale, step to the front. How'd you do? You did great. I already know this. Inhale to reach. Exhale, hips go behind. We fold, gaze to the belly. Inhale into a half lift, gazes forward. Exhale, plank to hands. Step back into your plank. You need to do knees, chest, and shin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. Up into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Down dog pose. Gaze to the belly. Next, inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, bring it between the hands. Squaring off the hips, the gaze goes forward. Next, exhale down to that right knee. Walk those hands toward the right. Use the heels, the palms to press in. Reaching back. Next, inhale, we'll walk our hands back, framing the front foot. Coming up into that low lunge, belly pulls in and we rise up. Squaring off those hips. Exhale, hands down into heart center. Inhale to reach back up. Exhale, open, warrior 2 pose. Inhale, back hand comes around, high crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Inhale, the right leg comes up behind the left. Exhale into a fold. Inhale, release up into that modified warrior 3. Exhale, step back, plank, knees, chest, and shin, Chaturanga. Up dog, down dog. Beautiful job. Right leg rises on the inhale. Exhale, bring it between the hands, squaring off the hips, dropping down to the left knee. Both hands walk toward the left, heels to the palms, press in, and we push into this nice deep stretch. Breathe. Next, inhale, we walk hands back to frame the front foot into our low lunge. Pull the belly in, reach and rise up to our nice high crescent lunge. Square off, getting in, inhaling, exhaling, hands down to heart center. Inhale to reach back up. Exhale, open up, warrior 2 pose. Sink in. Breathe. Coming back up through our nice high crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, left foot steps behind right, chest lifts. Exhale, fold. Inhale, warrior 3 modification. Exhale, stepping back into our low lunge. Plant the hands, plank pose, last vinyasa, go through. Lifting up, exhaling back. Gaze to the belly, a few rounds of breath. Our next inhale, we walk toward the front of the mat. Half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees. And as you exhale, just settle down onto your mat. Bring the soles of the feet together. Butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana. Get the hands around the ankles or shins. Really lift the chest on the inhale. Exhale, fold forward any amount. Gaze can be forward toward the tip of your nose. If you'd like, you can close your eyes and look toward the third eye or the tip of the nose. Keeping the spine straight, we breathe. Next, inhale, we sit up into a nice tall stance. Unbind the feet, scoot the bum forward. Hold on to one knee or the other, rolling back. Bring the knees into the chest, rock a little from side to side. One or both feet we hold on to, coming into our modified happy baby or our full happy baby. Make sure your bum's not up in the air like that, but that pelvic bone is planted on the ground. Rock a little from side to side. Keep holding on to the right foot. Let the left sole of the foot come to the floor. One hand or both holding on to that right foot or to the ankle or shin. And really work that right elbow toward the your knee toward the armpit. Breathing here. I guess that would be the leg's elbow, right? The knee. Move it toward that armpit. Breathe. Hold on to that foot or calf or shin and let that leg stretch up into the air. If it doesn't straighten all the way, that's okay. Just really work on getting a nice stretch. So if you have to bend the knee, that's good too. So don't worry about that. Everybody's got a different flexibility, right? Yoga just works on equanimity the whole time. If you're hanging on to that, hang on to that. Let that leg drop out toward the right any amount. You have to be real careful so I'm not going all the way down, because if I do, what happens? Look at that. I roll completely off that other hip. If your leg can go all the way there and touch the ground and not roll that hip off, that's perfect too. That knee can be bent, or you can let it be straight, working it out a little bit farther if that feels better for you. Just make sure both hips are anchored to the floor. Left hand on the left hip is a good reminder. Whatever position you're in, bring that back up. Coming back into our full happy baby. Do a little bit of rock and roll, actually sideways rocks. Back and forth. And now, from this position, turn loose the right foot. Both hands come to the foot of the left. You're really working that knee toward the armpit on the left side. So if you can't reach your foot, that's fine. You can hold on behind shoulder, not shoulder, but the shin or the ankle, foot, whatever works. Breathe. Breathe. Oh, it feels so good, doesn't it? Now from there, hold on to that outer foot, the big toe, whatever you got. Right hand can come to the right thigh. Just straighten that leg the best of your ability. Remember, you can also straighten that leg, just whatever feels better. Reaching up. If you need to switch to the big toe, that's perfectly fine. Opening up that leg toward the left any amount. Remember, don't roll that hip off the floor. So this might be the place we decide to straighten out the leg and let that other leg come out a little bit more. Right hand to right hip just reminds your hip to stay anchored. Breathe. And come out. Just come up and bending both knees. Soles of the feet come to the floor. You can just windshield wiper out the legs a little bit. Bring those arms into a T with the palms facing down. Pull the knees in toward the chest, inhaling here. As you exhale, rock toward the left, but don't go all the way down. Use a little bit of core work right here at the end. So you can go as far as you'd like. Try to keep the knees together, not let one be in front of the other. So that means you probably won't go very far. Just a little bit of a challenge here. Now from there, go ahead and let them fall all the way to the left. So we move from challenge to relaxation. Chest faces the sky, the head can face up toward the ceiling, or you can look a little bit toward the right. That always kind of bothers my neck a little bit, so if that bothers your neck, you can look straight up. But with me, if it doesn't, just gaze over the right arm. Now, keeping that position, we'll inhale, pull the knees back up. Oh, yeah. As you exhale, let them travel a little bit toward the right, holding here. And this is what I meant about the knee, not one. If we go down really far, see how we're not keeping our knees together. So in this bit of core work here, keeping the knees together just keeps us nice and aligned. Gaze can be up. Feet are flexed. You notice that my feet are flexed here. That always kind of what I like to call in classes because it protects the knee joint, engages the quadricep. There are times when we don't do that, but most of the time we do. And from there, you can just let those legs fall. Now the knees can be apart, perfectly fine. This is a relaxation pose. Chest is facing up. Again, you can turn your neck again to look at the left instead of up. I always kind of like looking up. Breathe. Next, inhale, those knees come in, grab onto the shins. Exhale to squeeze. Roll from one side to the other and come up into an easy seated position. That can be lotus, half lotus, easy crisscross. It can also be modified hero's pose. So just sit up nice and tall. Arms are resting, roll the shoulders down the back, pull the belly in. Dip the chin in toward the chest. Maybe connect thumb and index finger, opening the palms to the sky. A little bit of a hand signal here, mudra for our fingers, for our hands. Dip the chin in toward the chest. Breathe. This might be a good time to give some good exhales out the mouth. So inhaling. Open the mouth, exhale. Couple more rounds. Inhale. Open the mouth, exhale. One more. We've been doing a lot of threes today. Last one. Exhale. Keeping whatever hand position you're in. You can sit up nice and tall again and dipping the chin in. Or if you prefer, you can come into Ujjayi Mudra. Keep putting the hands in a prayer posture. Thumbs touching the chest. Again, the chin dips in. We hold here and breathe. Returning now to natural breath. Notice the pattern of breath just as much now as we did in the beginning of the class. Maybe your breath has calmed down quite a bit. I know mine has. I hope yours has too. Keeping our eyes closed. We wish that all beings experience wellness, peace, fulfillment, the auspicious or the perfect. That we want all beings to be well, happy, and free. But we also want to go and ask ourselves, how can we help to contribute to someone else's wellness, happiness, freedom, to their peace, to their path to the auspicious? We each have to ask that individually for ourselves. But with our eyes closed, I bow to you, you bow to me, and together we say, Namaste.